There is a reason you pressed play on this video. Not a vague, hand-waving, everything happens for a reason kind of reason. A specific one. And it has to do with something your conscious mind has been trying very hard not to look at. Something that has been sitting just below the surface of your awareness for days, maybe weeks, maybe longer, sending you signals you keep reclassifying as coincidence or noise or bad timing. But it is none of those things, and the fact that you are here right now in this exact moment is itself one of those signals. So before you do anything else, before you decide whether to stay or leave, I want you to notice something. Notice the slight tightening in your chest or your stomach as I say these words. That contraction is not anxiety. It is recognition. Something in you already knows what this is about, even if you cannot name it yet. Let me tell you about an experiment that changed the way physicists understand time itself. In 1984, a physicist named Carroll Alley and his team conducted what is now called the delayed choice experiment, building on a theoretical proposal by John Archibald Wheeler. Here is what they did. They sent individual photons, single particles of light, toward a beam splitter, a device that gives each photon two possible paths to travel. At the end of those paths, the researchers placed detectors. Now, in a standard setup, if you watch which path the photon takes, it behaves like a particle, choosing one route. If you do not watch, the photon behaves like a wave, traveling both paths simultaneously and creating an interference pattern. This much was already known from the double-slit experiment. But Wheeler wanted to ask a stranger question. What if you waited until after the photon had already passed through the beam splitter, after it had supposedly already decided whether to be a wave or a particle, and only then chose whether to observe its path? The results were unsettling. Even when the decision to observe was made after the photon had already traveled, the photon's behavior matched the choice. If the researchers decided to look, the photon had been a particle. If they decided not to look, the photon had been a wave. The observation did not just affect the present. It reached backward and shaped what had already happened. Sit with that for a moment. Not as an abstract physics puzzle, but as a direct statement about the nature of your experience right now. The delayed choice experiment does not merely say that observation affects reality. It says that observation affects reality retroactively. The choice you make in this moment can reorganize what has already occurred. Not the raw events themselves, but what those events mean, what they were actually doing, which version of the story they belong to. And this is not metaphor. This is what the math shows. This is what the detectors recorded. Now I want to connect this to something you have almost certainly experienced, but probably dismissed. Think about a time when you suddenly understood something about your own past. A moment when a memory you had carried for years suddenly rearranged itself. Maybe it was a relationship you thought had failed. And then one afternoon, perhaps years later, you realized that relationship had not failed at all. It had delivered exactly what you needed, placed you exactly where you had to be for the next thing to happen. In that moment of realization, the past did not change in its facts. The events stayed the same, but the past changed in its function. It went from being a wound to being a catalyst, from being evidence of your failure to being proof of your trajectory. And here is the part that matters. When that shift happened, it was not gradual. It was instant. One moment the memory meant one thing. The next moment, it meant something entirely different. and the new meaning felt more true than the old one ever had. As if the new meaning had been there the whole time, waiting for you to choose to see it. This is the delayed choice experiment playing out in the architecture of your own life. Your present awareness, the quality of attention you bring to this moment right now, is not just passively receiving information about the past. It is actively selecting which version of the past is real. Not which version is comfortable, which version is real. And this is why this moment matters. This is why the timing of you being here is not arbitrary. Because you are standing at one of those inflection points. There is something in your recent experience, something in the last few weeks or months, that is waiting to be reobserved. Something that looks like a problem, a failure, a dead end, a loss, and your current interpretation of it is locking you into a timeline you do not actually belong in. I want to be very precise about what I mean by that, because the word timeline gets thrown around loosely, and I am not using it loosely. In quantum mechanics, there is a concept called superposition, the idea that a system exists in all possible states simultaneously until it is measured. Before measurement, a particle is not in state A or state B, it is in both. The act of measurement does not reveal a pre-existing condition, it selects one. The philosopher and physicist Bernard d'Espagnat spent decades wrestling with the implications of this and concluded that what we call reality is not a collection of fixed objects and events, but what he termed a veiled reality, a deeper order that does not fully disclose itself and that is partially constituted by the act of observation. The world is not sitting there complete, waiting for you to look at it. The world is completing itself through the looking. Now extend this to your life, not as a metaphor, but as a structural description. Your life is not a single fixed timeline. It is a superposition of possible timelines, all of them real, all of them available. And the one that collapses into your lived experience is determined by where and how you place your attention. Not your wishes, not your affirmations. Your attention. There is a critical difference, and most people miss it entirely. Wishing is a surface activity. You can wish for something while your attention is locked onto its opposite. You can affirm abundance while your nervous system is clenched around scarcity. You can repeat a mantra of worthiness while every cell in your body is braced for rejection. And in that case, it is not the wish that selects the timeline. It is the attention. It is the deep, embodied, nervous system level focus that determines which version of reality collapses into form. The wish is the conscious mind. The attention is the whole organism. And the whole organism is what the universe responds to. If what we have been exploring about observation and the nervous system is resonating deeply, there is something more I want to offer. Have you spent years chasing manifestation, visualizing, affirming, raising your vibration, only to watch the same patterns repeat? Every traditional method assumes the same thing, that you are separate from what you want. That separation was never real. You were chasing a signal you were already broadcasting. Beyond the frequencies, a quantum guide to consciousness mastery walks through all 9 frequencies, from the dense transmissions trapping you through the ascending currents to the master frequencies where consciousness becomes the field. Every method you tried sent a signal outward. This one tunes the signal you already are. Every day you delay, your nervous system broadcasts the same old signal, and breaking free gets harder. So move on it tonight. The link is in the pinned comment below. Now, Let us bring this back to the stuck situation your body identified. If this is beginning to shift something in you, if you can feel the weight of what we are uncovering here, take a moment and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. That one small act is its own form of measurement, a signal to yourself that you are choosing to stay present with this. Now let me keep going. This is why positive thinking alone has never been enough. This is why you can read every book, attend every seminar, repeat every affirmation, and still find yourself looping through the same patterns. Because the measurement that matters, the observation that selects the timeline, is not happening in your thoughts. It is happening in your body. It is happening in the quality of your attention at a level far below conscious thought. Let me give you a specific example. Think about the experience of walking into a room where two people have just been arguing. They have stopped. They are smiling. They greet you normally. But you feel it instantly. Something in the room is wrong. Your body registers it before your mind has any data to work with. Your shoulders tighten. Your breathing shifts. You become slightly more alert, slightly more guarded. You did not think your way into that response. Your nervous system read the field and responded. This is not mysticism. This is documented neuroscience. Your body contains what are called interoceptive pathways, neural circuits that monitor the internal state of every organ, every tissue, every system, and feed that information into your brain below the threshold of conscious awareness. The neuroscientist Antonio Damasio has spent his career demonstrating that these body-level signals, what he calls somatic markers, are not secondary to cognition. They are foundational to it. You do not think first and feel second. You feel first, and your thinking is shaped by what you feel. Your body is not a vehicle for your mind. Your body is the primary instrument of perception. It is the measurement device. And whatever it is measuring, whatever it is attending to at the deepest level, that is what collapses into your reality. So the question becomes, what is your body attending to right now? Not what are you thinking about? What is your body oriented toward? What is it braced for? What is it expecting? I want you to do something right now. Do not skip this. Close your eyes if you can, or soften your gaze. Take one slow breath. And as you exhale, notice where in your body there is holding. Not pain necessarily, just tension. A place where the tissue is contracted, where the muscles are slightly clenched, where the body is gripping. It might be your jaw. It might be your shoulders. It might be your belly, your pelvic floor, the arches of your feet. Just find one place. And instead of trying to release it, instead of trying to relax it, just notice it. Ask it, very gently, what are you bracing for? Do not rush the answer. Do not manufacture one. Just listen. Let the body speak in its own language, which is not words, but sensation, image, temperature, pressure. What you are doing right now is not a relaxation exercise. It is an act of measurement. You are turning the instrument of your awareness toward the part of you that has been running a background program, selecting a timeline you may not have consciously chosen. And the moment you observe it, genuinely observe it, not to fix it, not to judge it, but simply to see it. You change what it can do. You interrupt the automatic selection. You open the superposition back up. This is the mechanism that the delayed choice experiment points to. The observation does not have to come before the event. It can come after. You can re-observe something that has already happened and change its function in your life. Not by pretending it did not happen, not by reframing it with a positive spin, but by bringing a different quality of attention to it. A quality of attention that is curious rather than defensive, open rather than braced, present rather than dissociated. I want to pause here and ask you something. When you did that body scan just now, when you asked that part of you what it was bracing for, what came up? I would love for you to share that in the comments below. Not the whole story, just the sensation, the word, the image that surfaced. You might be surprised how many others here are carrying something remarkably similar. There is a term in contemplative traditions that maps onto this with startling precision. In Zen Buddhism, it is called Shoshin, beginner's mind. But the way it is usually taught in the West misses the depth of what it actually means. It is not simply being open-minded. It is not intellectual humility. Shoshin is a specific perceptual state in which the observer relinquishes all prior conclusions about what they are looking at. It is the act of seeing something as if you have never seen it before, not because you are pretending, but because you recognize that your previous seeing was incomplete. Every time you looked before, you were measuring with a biased instrument. Your expectations, your fears, your assumptions were all part of the measurement apparatus, and they shaped what you found. Shoshin is the practice of cleaning the instrument, and when the instrument is clean, the measurement changes, and when the measurement changes, the reality changes. Now, I said at the beginning that you are at an inflection point. Let me be more specific about what that means. An inflection point in mathematics is the exact spot on a curve where the direction of the bend changes. Before the inflection point, the curve is bending one way. After it, the curve bends the other way. But at the inflection point itself, there is a moment of zero curvature, a moment where the line is, for an instant, perfectly straight. No bend at all. Pure potential. The curve has not yet committed to its new direction. That is where you are. Something in your life has been curving in one direction, building momentum, establishing a pattern, and it has reached the point where the curvature is about to reverse. But it has not reversed yet. You are in the straight line, the zero curvature moment. And this is the most powerful and most dangerous place to be, because what you do here, what you attend to here, determines the shape of the entire next arc. Most people miss their inflection points. They miss them because inflection points do not feel dramatic. They do not feel like breakthroughs. They feel like nothing. They feel like emptiness, confusion, flatness, a strange pause where the old momentum has died, but the new momentum has not started. And because this feels like stagnation, most people panic. They reach backward for the old pattern, the old relationship, the old coping mechanism, the old story, anything to fill the void. And in doing so, they collapse the superposition prematurely. They select the old timeline again. Not because it was the right one, but because it was the familiar one. This is the trap. Familiarity masquerading as destiny. The nervous system interpreting what it recognizes as what is true. And this is precisely where the body-level measurement becomes critical. Because your nervous system has a bias, it is called neuroception, a term coined by the neuroscientist Stephen Porges. Neuroception is your nervous system's constant, unconscious scanning of the environment for signals of safety or danger. And here is the part that changes everything. Neuroception does not distinguish between unfamiliar and unsafe. To your nervous system, new feels dangerous. An unfamiliar timeline, even if it is the one that leads to everything you have been asking for, registers as a threat. Your body tightens, your breathing shortens, your attention narrows, and you reach for what you know. This is why transformation is not an intellectual event. You can understand everything I am saying right now, agree with every word, and still walk away and make the same choices you have been making. Because understanding lives in the cortex, and timeline selection lives in the brainstem. The part of you that decides which reality to collapse into is not the part that processes language. It is the part that processes safety. And until that part of you can tolerate the unfamiliar, you will keep selecting the known. So how do you change the measurement at that level? How do you teach the nervous system that unfamiliar is not the same as unsafe? You do it the same way the delayed choice experiment works. You do it through the quality of observation, not through force, not through willpower, through presence. Here is what I mean specifically. When you encounter the unfamiliar, when you stand at the edge of a new possibility and your body begins to contract, there is a window. It is small. It lasts maybe 2 to 4 seconds. In that window, before the full stress response locks in, you have a choice. Not a choice about what to do, a choice about how to observe. You can observe the contraction from inside it, which means you become the contraction, you become the fear, you become the resistance. And from inside it, the only rational action is retreat. Or you can observe the contraction from just slightly outside it, not dissociating from it, not pretending it is not there, but watching it the way you would watch a wave approaching the shore. Seeing it as movement, as energy, as information, not as command. That slight shift in observation, from being the contraction to witnessing the contraction, is the most powerful thing a human being can do. It is, in the language of quantum mechanics, a change in the measurement basis. You are not changing what is being observed. You are changing the frame of observation. And when you change the frame, you change what is possible. The philosopher and mystic Jiddu Krishnamurti spent decades pointing to this single capacity. He called it observation without the observer, a phrase that sounds paradoxical until you experience it. What he meant was this: most of the time, when you observe your own experience, you observe it through the filter of the one who is having the experience. You observe your fear as my fear. You observe your anger as my anger. And that possessive pronoun, that my, is not a neutral label. It is an act of identification. It fuses you with the state. It makes the state into an identity. And from inside an identity, you cannot choose. You can only enact. But there is another mode of observation available, one in which the fear arises and is seen fully without the my. Not denied, not suppressed. Seen. And in that seeing, something extraordinary happens. The fear is still there, but it is no longer selecting your timeline. It is no longer collapsing your superposition. It is present, it is real, it is felt, but it is not in charge. You have separated the measurement from the measured. And in that separation, the full range of possible outcomes opens back up. This is not a skill you develop once and possess forever. It is a practice you engage in moment by moment, choice point by choice point. And each time you do it, you are literally rewiring the neural pathways that govern your neuroception. You are teaching your nervous system, through repeated experience, that the unfamiliar can be observed without being fled from, that the unknown can be witnessed without being collapsed into the known, that the inflection point can be inhabited rather than escaped. I am curious about something. Have you ever caught yourself in that 2 to 4 second window, that tiny gap before the old pattern locks in, and chosen differently? Even once? Tell me about that moment in the comments. What did it feel like to stay instead of retreat? There is a biological basis for this that is worth understanding precisely. When your nervous system detects a threat, it activates the sympathetic branch, the fight or flight system. Heart rate increases, cortisol floods the bloodstream. The prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for complex reasoning, future planning, and creative problem solving, goes partially offline. Blood flow is redirected to the limbs. You become, in a very real sense, a simpler organism. Your range of possible responses narrows to a few survival options. This is the biological equivalent of collapsing the wave function prematurely. The full range of possibilities is reduced to 1 or 2. But when you observe the threat response without being consumed by it, when you witness the activation from that slight distance, something different happens. The vagus nerve, the longest cranial nerve in the body, running from the brainstem to the abdomen, begins to exert what is called vagal brake. It slows the heart rate. It signals to the body that the situation is intense but not lethal. It keeps the prefrontal cortex online. And with the prefrontal cortex online, the full range of responses remains available. You can still feel the activation. You can still feel the urgency, but you are not reduced by it. The superposition stays open. Stephen Porges calls this the social engagement system, the state in which the nervous system is activated but regulated, alert but not overwhelmed. It is the state in which the most creative, most connected, most intelligent responses become available. And it is accessed not through calming down, not through suppressing the activation, but through maintaining the quality of observation while the activation is present. This is the practice. This is what the timing of this moment is asking of you. Not to feel differently, not to think differently, but to observe differently, to bring a quality of witnessing to whatever is arising in your life right now, especially the thing that feels most urgent, most threatening, most impossible, and to hold it in awareness without collapsing into it or fleeing from it. Let me give you the specific thing to work with. I want you to identify right now the situation in your life that feels most stuck, the one where you have tried everything and nothing has worked, the one where you keep arriving at the same wall, the same argument, the same dead end, the same disappointing result. You know which one it is. Your body just told you. That slight surge of heaviness or heat or contraction when I said those words, that is the body identifying the situation. Now, instead of thinking about the situation, I want you to feel the situation. Let the mental narrative, the story about why it is stuck, who is to blame, what you should have done differently, let all of that quiet for a moment and just feel what the situation feels like in your body. Where does it live? What is its texture? Is it heavy or tight or buzzing or numb? Does it have a temperature, a shape, a color? Stay with it. Do not try to change it. Just measure it. Just observe it with the full instrument of your awareness. What you are doing right now is what Wheeler's delayed choice experiment demonstrated at the quantum level. You are making a measurement after the events have already occurred. The situation already happened. The arguments already took place. The failures already accumulated. The disappointments already landed. But the meaning of all of those events, the timeline they belong to, is not yet fixed. It is still in superposition. And your observation right now, in this moment, is what will select which version becomes real. If you observe it through the lens of your habitual story, the story of limitation, of victimhood, of not enoughness, of this is just how things are, then that observation collapses the superposition into the timeline you have been living. The familiar one, the painful one, the one that feels like fate but is actually just repetition. But if you observe it through a different quality of attention, through the clean instrument, through Shoshin, through the witnessing awareness that sees without possessing, then something else becomes available. Not a fantasy, not a delusion, a genuinely different trajectory that was always there, always possible, but could not manifest because the measurement apparatus was biased. I want to go deeper into why this particular moment in your life is the one that matters. There is a concept in complexity theory called the edge of chaos. It describes the narrow band between rigid order and total disorder, where complex systems, biological, ecological, social, exhibit their highest creativity and adaptability. Too much order and the system is frozen, unable to adapt. Too much chaos and the system disintegrates, unable to maintain coherence. But right at the edge, in that thin zone between the two, the system becomes capable of spontaneous self-organization. New patterns emerge, new structures form, not because they are imposed from outside, but because the system's own internal dynamics, when held in that precise balance, generate novelty. Your life operates the same way. The periods of rigid control, where you white-knuckle everything into place, produce stability but not growth. The periods of total chaos, where everything falls apart and nothing makes sense, produce disruption but not transformation. It is only at the edge, in the moments that feel like neither order nor chaos, but something unnamed in between, that genuine transformation becomes possible. And that unnamed in between? That is exactly what the inflection point feels like. That flatness, that confusion, that sense of being nowhere. It is not a failure of progress. It is the edge of chaos. It is the zone of maximum creative potential. And you are in it. The reason most people retreat from this zone is not weakness. It is misidentification. They mistake the feeling of the edge for the feeling of collapse. They interpret the groundlessness as falling rather than floating. And so they grab for the nearest solid thing, which is almost always the old pattern, the old identity, the old timeline. And the moment they grab, they leave the edge. They snap back into order, the rigid, familiar, suffocating order that they know. And the window closes. But you do not have to grab. You can float. You can stay at the edge. And the way you stay is through the quality of your observation. By witnessing the groundlessness without interpreting it as danger. By feeling the openness without rushing to fill it. By allowing the superposition to remain open long enough for something genuinely new to emerge. There is a practice embedded in several contemplative traditions that trains exactly this capacity. In the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, it is called resting in the gap. It refers to the space between one thought ending and the next thought beginning. If you watch your own mind carefully, you will notice that thoughts are not continuous. They arise, they persist for a moment, and they dissolve. And between one thought and the next, there is a gap. A tiny interval of pure awareness without content. Most people never notice this gap because the next thought arises so quickly that it seems like a continuous stream. But with practice, you can begin to notice the gap, and then to rest in it. Not to extend it through force, but to simply be aware of it when it occurs. What is remarkable about this gap is that it has a quality. It is not blank. It is not empty in the way a void is empty. It is luminous. It is aware. It is the awareness itself, without anything to be aware of. And when you rest in it, even for a fraction of a second, you experience something that is impossible to describe, but unmistakable when it happens. You experience yourself as the field rather than the particle, as the ocean rather than the wave, as the awareness rather than the thought. And from that place, the place of the gap, the inflection point is not frightening, it is home. Because the inflection point and the gap are the same thing at different scales, the gap is the inflection point of a single moment. The inflection point is the gap of an entire life phase. Both are zones of zero curvature. Both are spaces of pure potential. Both are invitations to observe without collapsing. I want to bring this back to something very concrete, because understanding this intellectually is not the same as living it. And this video is not about understanding. It is about the shift that happens when understanding drops from the head into the body and becomes a lived orientation. Think about the situation you identified earlier. The stuck one, the one your body responded to. Now, I want you to consider the possibility that this situation is not stuck at all. That what you have been interpreting as stuckness is actually the inflection point, the zero curvature moment, the edge of chaos, the gap between one arc of your life and the next. What if the reason nothing has worked is not that you have failed, but that you have been applying solutions from the old timeline to a situation that belongs to the new one? What if the strategies that worked before, the pushing, the forcing, the figuring out, the controlling, are exactly the wrong instruments for this moment? Not because they are bad strategies, but because this moment does not need a strategy. It needs a different quality of observation. Consider what it would mean to stop trying to fix the situation and instead simply observe it. To sit with it the way you would sit with a koan, a question that has no logical answer, but that transforms you in the sitting. What would change if you stopped asking, "How do I solve this?" and started asking, "What is this actually showing me?" That shift, from solving to seeing, is not passive. It is the most active thing you can do. It is the act of changing the measurement basis, and it is available to you right now. Not tomorrow. Not after you have done more work on yourself. Not after you have read the right book or found the right teacher. Right now, in this breath. There is a phenomenon in quantum optics called quantum eraser, and it extends the delayed choice experiment in a direction that is almost too strange to accept. In the quantum eraser experiment, researchers demonstrated that even after which path information has been recorded, if that information is subsequently erased, the interference pattern reappears. The particle behaves as a wave again. The past behavior of the particle changes, based on whether information about it is preserved or destroyed in the present. Read that again carefully. The past changes based on what happens to information in the present. Not the interpretation of the past. The measurable, detectable, physical behavior of particles in the past changes based on a present moment action. Now, I am not claiming that you can literally rewrite the events of your history. The quantum eraser operates at the subatomic level, and scaling quantum effects to the macroscopic world is a matter of ongoing scientific debate. But the principle it reveals is profound and, I would argue, experientially verifiable. The principle is this: the information you hold about your past, the stories, the interpretations, the meanings you have assigned, is not a passive record. It is an active force that shapes the present. And when you erase the old information, when you genuinely release the old interpretation, not by replacing it with a new one, but by letting go of the need to interpret at all, something in the present reorganizes. You have experienced this. Think of a grudge you carried for years, a resentment that felt like a permanent part of your identity. And then one day, for no particular reason, it dissolved. Not because you forgave, not because you decided to let go, but because the information, the story, the interpretation simply lost its charge. It erased itself, and in that moment, your present changed. Not slowly, immediately. You felt lighter. You saw the person differently. You saw yourself differently. The entire field of your experience reorganized around the absence of that information. That is the quantum eraser operating in the theater of your consciousness. And it is happening right now, in this moment, with whatever you are holding on to that no longer serves the trajectory you are actually on. Here is what I want you to understand about timing, because the title of this video is not accidental, and I do not use words like right now carelessly. There is a concept in ancient Greek that distinguishes between two kinds of time. Chronos is sequential time, clock time, the kind that moves forward in a line. But Kairos is something else entirely. Kairos is the opportune moment, the moment that is ripe, the moment when conditions converge and a particular action or realization becomes not just possible but inevitable, if you are present enough to recognize it and respond. Kairos cannot be manufactured. It cannot be scheduled. It arises from the convergence of internal readiness and external conditions, and it has a very short half-life. Miss it, and the window closes. Not forever, but for this cycle. The opportunity will come around again, but you will be older, and the cost of the delay will have compounded. You are in a Kairos moment. I know this not because I know the specifics of your life, but because Kairos has a signature. And the fact that you are here, watching this, at this particular time, with that particular situation weighing on you, is the signature. Something in you is ready for the shift. Something in you has been preparing for it, even while the rest of you has been resisting it. And the preparation and the resistance are both necessary. The preparation built the capacity. The resistance built the pressure. And now the pressure and the capacity have met, and the inflection point is here. What I am asking you to do is very simple and very difficult. I am asking you to stay in the gap, to stay at the edge, to stay in the inflection point without grabbing for the old pattern or rushing toward a premature new one, to let the superposition remain open, to observe without collapsing. And to do this, you need to do something with your body, not just your mind. because your body is the measurement device, and the measurement is what selects the timeline. Here is the practice. Do it now, or do it as soon as you can after this video ends, but do it today. Do not wait. Find a place where you can sit undisturbed for 10 minutes. Set a timer so you do not have to watch the clock. Close your eyes. Bring to mind the stuck situation, the one your body identified earlier. Do not think about it. Feel it. Let it live in your body as sensation. Notice where the sensation is. Notice its qualities. And then do this. On each inhale, breathe directly into the sensation, not around it, into it. Imagine the breath entering through the exact location of the tension or heaviness or constriction. And on each exhale, do not try to release the sensation. Instead, exhale with the intention of softening the tissue around the sensation. Not the sensation itself, the space around it. You are not trying to make the feeling go away. You are trying to give the feeling more room. Do this for 10 breaths. Just 10. And after the 10th breath, ask one question silently, directed not to your mind, but to the sensation itself. Ask, "What are you protecting me from?" Then stop. Do not answer the question. Do not analyze. Just sit in the aftermath of the question for the remaining time. Let whatever arises, arise. Let whatever does not arise, not arise. The question is not seeking an answer. The question is changing the measurement. It is shifting the frame of observation from "I need to fix this" to "I am willing to understand this." And that shift, that single shift, is the act that opens the superposition. You may feel nothing. You may feel everything. You may cry. You may feel inexplicably calm. You may feel angry. All of these are valid measurements. None of them are the point. The point is that you showed up to the inflection point and you did not run. You stayed. You observed. You allowed the gap to exist without filling it. And in doing so, you changed the trajectory. Not in some abstract, spiritual, trust the universe way. In the same way that a delayed choice measurement changes the behavior of a photon. In the same way that erasing witch path information restores the interference pattern. In the same way that a system at the edge of chaos spontaneously self-organizes into a higher order of complexity. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are at the inflection point. And the inflection point is not a problem to be solved. It is a threshold to be crossed. And you cross it not by doing more, but by observing differently. If someone you know is standing at their own threshold right now, navigating that same strange stillness between who they were and who they are becoming, send them this video. That act of sharing is not passive. It is its own form of quantum measurement, an extension of your awareness into the field of another person's life. When you share these principles with someone who is ready to receive them, you reinforce the neural pathways of your own understanding, and you create a resonance between two nervous systems that amplifies the capacity of both to stay at the edge. The ripple you send out comes back to you as signal. There is one more thing I want to leave you with, and it has to do with the nature of readiness itself. In the Western model of change, readiness is something you build. You prepare, you accumulate resources, you develop skills, and then, when you have enough, you act. Readiness is a quantity. You either have enough of it or you do not. But there is another model, one that shows up across contemplative traditions and, interestingly, in the mathematics of phase transitions. In this model, readiness is not something you build. It is something that builds in you. It accumulates below the threshold of awareness, like water heating toward a boil. For a long time, nothing visible happens. The water is still water. It looks the same at 50 degrees as it does at 90 degrees. And if you are watching the surface, waiting for evidence of change, you see nothing. You might conclude that nothing is happening, that the heat is not working, that you are wasting your time. But at the molecular level, everything is changing. The molecules are moving faster. The bonds between them are loosening. The internal energy is increasing with every degree. And then, at 100 degrees, without any additional force, without any new intervention, the water transforms, not gradually, catastrophically. It becomes something entirely different. Steam, a phase transition. You have been heating. The fact that you cannot see the change on the surface does not mean the change is not happening. The fact that your life looks the same as it did 6 months ago does not mean you are the same as you were 6 months ago. The molecular structure of your consciousness has been shifting with every insight, every practice, every moment of honest self-observation, every time you chose to stay present when everything in you wanted to dissociate. The energy has been accumulating. The bonds of the old pattern have been loosening. And this moment, this video, this strange convergence of your attention and these words and whatever is happening in your life right now, this is the 100-degree moment. Not because these words are magic, but because you are ready. The readiness was already there before you pressed play. The pressing play was the readiness expressing itself. So do not wait for permission. Do not wait for certainty. Do not wait for the fear to go away. The fear will not go away. It will be present at the threshold because the threshold is unfamiliar, and the nervous system reads unfamiliar as unsafe. But you now know something about that reading. You know it is a neuroceptive bias, not a truth. You know that the unfamiliar and the unsafe are not the same thing. You know that you can observe the fear without being the fear. You know that the observation itself is the act that changes everything. The situation in your life that feels most impossible is the photon in the delayed choice experiment. It has already traveled its path. The events have already occurred. But the measurement, the one that determines which version of reality those events belong to, has not been made yet. You are making it now, with the quality of your attention, with the willingness to stay at the edge, with the practice of breathing into the sensation rather than away from it, with the question directed not to the mind but to the body, what are you protecting me from? This is not a video you were meant to see because the algorithm is mystical. You were meant to see it because you are at the inflection point, and something in you, something wiser than your conscious mind, something that operates at the level of the body, the field, the quantum substrate of your being, guided your attention here because this is the measurement that was needed. Not the information, the measurement. The act of observing your own readiness. The act of witnessing the threshold you are standing on. The act of staying in the gap long enough for the new arc to begin. The curve is about to bend. You can feel it, not in your thoughts, in your body, in that subtle shift that has been happening as you listened, that slight loosening in the place that was tight, that faint warmth in the place that was cooled, that quiet sense of something opening that you cannot name but cannot deny. Trust that. Not as belief, as data, as the measurement your own instrument is returning. Your body is telling you that the phase transition is here. Your body is telling you that the old timeline is releasing its grip. Your body is telling you that the superposition is open and the new arc is available. All you have to do is stay. Stay in the observation. Stay in the gap. Stay at the edge. And let the next version of your life collapse into form, not from force, not from fear, but from the quiet, steady, luminous act of seeing what is actually here. You already know what to do. You have always known. The knowing was just waiting for you to stop looking for it and start being it. And now, in this moment, you are. If this reached something in you that you have been carrying alone, if something shifted or softened or opened while you listened, come back to this. Not as repetition, but as practice. Each time you return, the measurement deepens. Each time you stay in the gap a little longer, the new arc becomes a little more defined. And if you want to continue this alongside others who are standing at their own inflection points, who are learning to observe without collapsing, who are choosing to stay at the edge, then be here. Subscribe, return, not for the content, for the practice, for the ongoing act of choosing, again and again, to measure differently, to see differently, to be the awareness that does not flinch. The curve is bending, and you are the one bending it.